Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, good night, Paladins, champions of the realm, wherever you are, whatever time zone you're in, welcome to the Paladins Summer Circuit NA side for week 4. My name is Vox, joined by Rain Day today. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing fantastic. How about yourself?
I am doing just great. I have a cup of coffee right with me. I am raring to see some games, and we have some great games set up ahead of us. We've got the brackets up on screen for us to dissect now, so why don't you take me through them?
Well, the first thing that comes out in my visual perspective here is Ariana Grande fanboys versus Match Point coming up. That's going to be a hype game, I think, not only because of the musical element, but I think we're going to have Hi-Rez Pretty Hair a little too excited to cast that one with you a little later on. So we may be looking at that, but also I like that we're seeing Eager and Ronan on the opposite side of Match Point, the second and third squad in terms of placing each week here, and they're going to be able to go against each other to kind of figure out who's going to be coming up and trying to take down the Giants, Fox. So I really do enjoy that that's going to be on the other side of the bracket, and we'll see who matches up with them at the end.
That's pretty awesome. And of course, we've got the Art of Warfare versus Kings of the North, Ardent Frost versus Unity Esports, and Zenith Black versus Jolt GG. The game we will be spectating for round 1 will be Ardent Frost versus Unity Esports. I'm excited to see how it goes. Unity Esports is effectively revamped IC because there was a whole thing with the IC team. Everybody left. They've restarted something. Ardent Frost, again, a team that's been around for a few weeks now, matching Ardent Ascendance as sort of the sister team there. So it'll be interesting to see if this is going to be a closer match or one that maybe just the longer established team, just in terms of communication, will dominate because they have a bit more team synergy. Either way, we'll be finding out shortly after this break.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, champions of the realm. My name is Rain Day, and joining me today is my co-commentator, Vox Tempest. Welcome to the Paladins Summer Circuit for the North American side. We've got a great matchup in this first round versus Ardent Frost and Unity Esports. We'll walk you through the teams right now as we take a look at Ardent Frost on your left-hand side. TheFatPlum will be playing Androxus. Rovaniik will be on the Bomb King. CombatStarfish on the Grok. Cacanuck onto the Buck, and ChaoticZulu on Eevee. And Vox, why don't you take us away on who Unity Esports is and who they'll be playing?
And so Unity Esports on the right-hand side, a revamped team, new to the scene, but long-standing players will be OgienChomik on Victor, and MrBrick on Grog, MrPotatoeFace on Eevee, MicroMiniMouse on Bomb King, and CoraSweetness on Young Grover.
Great names so far.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. They are a team full of great names, but check out where Cacanuck is going, actually. This Buck is being sneaky. He's a very sneaky large man, as Dryper once said. I think it was actually at the Founders Tournament round. From behind comes Young Grover, looking for the ambush. There's 3 players versus 1. There's oh no! Oh, good grief. No, that was a Grumpy Bomb stun right there. Grover immediately eliminated, and actually it appears to be Ardent Frost taking a bit of an advantage here on this objective.
And absolutely, I mean, you saw Grover going in for the flank, but once he vines in there, Vox, I mean, he's got no way to get out, and that's what happened. They expected the flank, they expected the aggressive play, and then the Grumpy Bomb just stunned him. That bomb just being so effective from Bomb King and putting him in a really, really good place to secure and, do moves like that, which really turned the tide of fights.
Wonderful. We appear to be experiencing some brief technical difficulties, so we're going to cut to a short break and figure those out, and we'll be back with the game in just a moment.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry for the delay. We were basically making sure we could get you guys the cleanest picture possible. We had some issues, and now we are moving back into the action. Ardent with the capture on the first point, making it 2-0 for them. Of course, Unity Esports now on the defense, looking to basically put themselves in position to stop the onslaught that is happening so far. But so far, no chance, Vox. Ardent is looking pretty dang dominant, man.
Oh, the only exception there being fun. Oh no, he broke it. The TheFatPlum is on a 404 slash line. I wanted to make a joke about how his KDA can be found. Either way, no, they're looking very strong right now. They're just pushing in on ahead. The payload uncontested right now, and part of that is going to be to do with CoraSweetness on Grover, just unable to really, do anything unless they get the jump on somebody. They're trying to get the jump on Cacanuck, but Cacanuck leaps away, and now CoraSweetness under a lot of fire should fall Bomb King right here. The kill's picked up actually by Cacanuck. That ChaoticZulu takes out Ogi, and up in the air is the TheFatPlum. Do they have the ultimate ready? They do. I don't think they want to use it though. There's only 1 player left contesting right now. The respawns are coming through. King Bomb doesn't do anything, and here we go. There's a Tempest coming through, but Ice Block is going to be used as well for a little bit of a blink freeze, and the respawns are enough to keep the payload stalled briefly, but I don't know how long this will last.
Well, that Bomb King up in the rafters, man, he's doing such a fantastic job of just applying the area damage and applying the high-end damage. Bomb King Vox, you know, being able to not only confirm his damage while not being completely accurate, but also doing such a high amount of it has become a really solid staple character in this last meta. So it's really not surprising to me to see him doing so well. They need to figure him out.
Absolutely. So let's take a look at the scoreboard and the burn cards as we get into round 2. You can see only 3 picked up. 4. That would be the new team on the block right there on the right-hand side of your scoreboard. On the left-hand side, and Frost are getting 3 on CombatStarfish, actually. Only on a 10 streak, but going to be escorting that payload, stacking up a lot of credits right there. And talk to me about these resilience pickups. The blue card with the chains on it right there.
Yeah, so it's very interesting. This is a card we're not seeing a lot. It's going to help their CC immunity and allow them to get out of things like the EV freeze, like the Bomb King stun on his Grumpy Bomb, which you see Rovaniik throwing there onto the point. Of course, the enemy team doesn't have them, but it's going to allow people with that card to basically get out of that CC a little easier, a little quicker, have it not be as effective. It's not going to be full mitigation, but it's going to allow them to decrease the time that they're stunned. And that does make a difference, but we don't see it often, Vox. Why do you think we're seeing it now?
So I think we're seeing it right now because look at the team we've got set up for, again, they're going against Ardent Frost. The reason they're picking up Resilience, you've got MrPotatoeFace on Eevee, who's going to have the Blink Freeze stun. You've got the King Bomb, not the King Bomb, sorry. It is the Grumpy Bomb stun and potentially the Cripple from Grover. And you're seeing it picked up on Cacanuck. He's going to be leaping into the backline, doesn't want to be crippled out of heroic leap so they can leap away if they're low health. And also CombatStarfish, as whilst Grok goes in to contest the objective a lot, they're at potential risk of having Grumpy Bombs thrown at them. They have Blink Blocks thrown at them. And if they can get out of stun earlier and potentially transition themselves into Ghost Walk and prevent all that damage from actually getting off, they'll be able to survive. And that's exactly what's happening right now.
That's a great point you made, actually. Just getting out of the CC long enough to get away from all the potential damage could mean the difference. But of course, we also saw some really nice plays there from Buck, just jumping out of Eevee's freeze. When Eevee went to blink in, he just jumped up, and Eevee was not able to catch him in that freeze. So another way to avoid it. All these characters seem to be a little bit more knowledgeable on the side of Ardent Frost in terms of how to deal with what they're being thrown at here.
And well, Buck has a particular card in his kit, which is very much a staple right now. And it's called Breaker. And after landing from Heroic Leap, you gain CC immunity for, I think it's 2 through to 8 seconds or 2 through to 6 seconds. But it's a great deal of CC immunity, which is very, very useful. Now you can see that blinking in or soaring in, rather, MrPotatoeFace looks to contest the objective. They have their Ice Block available. They're not going to be healing up inside it. And now ChaoticZulu looks to the Blink Block potentially. No, just stalling out for the time being. The payload's starting to push through. It's made it all its way through cliff tops. Grover under a lot of fire. And Ardent Frost are looking like they're unstoppable right now.
Well, Grover's not being able to be effective, and we've seen this character get in and out of the meta at times, but right now he's definitely considered to be out, yet they pick him, and it seems like it's just getting countered way too easily, especially with the damage from Bomb King, but a lot of the mobility from these characters, being able to move away, get away from Grover. You've got another step, you've got Poppy Bomb, you've got a Blink, you've got a Heroic Leap. I mean, Grover can't really stay with any of these characters except maybe Grok, and Grok can probably outlast him with that Totemic Ward and his crazy damage now. So that's an 8-0 start for Ardent Frost. It's looking like it's going to be a quick game here, Vox.
It's going to be a very, very quick game. 6 minutes and 55 seconds in and 8-0 already. The game will end after the next objective unless Unity Esports can somehow pull it back, but with very little in the way of burn cards on their side and a 27 streak coming out of the Bomb King for Ardent Frost, it's going to be very difficult to shut them down. In fact, only 1 death for all players of Ardent Frost. That is on ChaoticZulu, who probably just overextended his Eevee rather than playing back a little bit. And TheFatPlum has 12 kills. That is obscene.
Wow. I mean, you know what I also really like? I love about Paladins. You can basically play this game, and every new fight, every new capture point is a different engagement. So if you take it the right way, you can get yourself back into things. And of course, you can't win on a defense, so they've got to come here at this point and try to make something happen. They're going with the flank here, but MrPotatoeFace already poked down to below half health. TheFatPlum chasing after him, but he soars up into the air, and FatPlum is not able to secure the kill yet, but no one is able to even get close to the point, Fox. It's looking like a haphazard show. Things just haven't been working out so far.
Oh, ChaoticZulu. Going in, picks up MrBrick, but CoraSweetness took out the TheFatPlum on Grover. Grover very quickly answered back and shut down by Rovaniik. Bomb King still on a tear, on a 29 streak right now. And in goes Cacanuck into the backline as well, looking to shut down this Victor. Ogi forced to dash away, but that hustle will keep them safe momentarily. But the rest of the team needs to rally around and go in as a group right now. They need to break this defensive hold and the zone control, which Ardent Frost are putting on. And they're going in one by one. They're very staggered, and they don't seem to be able to make a good hold.
Nice Tempest, though, however, from CombatStarfish to secure the damage. But here's the Grover ultimate. That's going to work, but it's not actually going to do any damage on a ChaoticZulu, who's going to just ice block and immune all of that. So it's looking like a secured victory here for the men or women of Ardent Frost, and they're going to take this one. Got to be politically correct, you know. Got to take this one into the next match with a 1-0 lead. And, of course, we'll see how they fare. Vox, that was pretty dominant, wouldn't you say?
Oh, absolutely. That was one of the fastest games I think that we've seen in this Paladins summer circuit so far. The only faster might be the first rounds versus Match Point or the first rounds versus D69 and Torpedo. Let's take a look at the scoreboard, break some stats down, and good grief, the TheFatPlum in a 9-minute game with 37,000 damage. What do you say about that?
I got to say, this guy's playing real well. He was not even on the objective, man. You could tell he was barely on the objective. He was just chasing these kills, and he was getting them. 14-1. Wow, that's a massacre right there. TheFatPlum was playing out of his mind. They're going to have to shut him down. But who else do they shut down, Vox? I mean, what do they target? What do they change? How does Unity Esports get themselves back into this mentality that, hey, we can win. We just got to make the right moves?
Well, you've absolutely got to shut down the TheFatPlum, that's obvious. Rovaniik as well should be a player to look for, but honestly, I think it's less about picking a specific player to shut down, but not getting shut down themselves. We saw Cacanuck go in. He's 9-0-23, 0 solo kills, working on the team. Highest streak, though, of 32, 0 deaths on this buck, being a force of nature as a backline disruptor. So rather than go in with the mentality of, like, we have to kill this person, let's go in with the mentality of, we got to stay alive. If they dive in, we kill them. We work as a unit. If they come in, we collapse onto them. And we don't filter in one by one looking for different picks. And I think that's really important. Either way, the next map up in this best of 3 set will be Temple Ruins. Do you think we'll see any different champion picks coming out there?
I believe so. And I will. Here's the thing. I don't know if we will see it, but what I'd like to see personally that I think would help them is a change from Grover. I think Grover and the way that they were structuring their flanks, they just got seen right away. Ardent Frost had read that book already. They'd seen that movie. So all of those flanks were just putting them in a bad position, not even able to contest or get to the point fight. So I'd like to see Grover get replaced with somebody who's going to have a little bit more of an advantage at not only helping on the point fights, but if they want to flank, being able to flank and then get out if necessary if that flank doesn't go well, and not just be stuck in the back line being turned on by 3 players. So I'd love to see a switch. Maybe a Kinessa, maybe a Drogos, maybe a Cassie in there might help them get that more damage.
Honestly, if they're looking for a kind of brawler or a kind of bruiser, even a buck like Cacanuck is running, like you said, with Heroic Leap in, Heroic Leap straight back out again, has a bit more safety to them. But we'll find out very shortly, in just a few minutes, if there will be any champion switch-ups, and let us know your thoughts in Twitch chat in the meantime.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Paladins, champions of the realm, friends. Thank you so much for watching and staying tuned to the Paladin Summer Circuit. My name is Rain. Joining me today is Vox Tempest, and we're here with Game 2 of Ardent Frost versus Unity Esports. Ardent Frost took a convincing 1-0 lead, and they're going to be playing with the same squad. Rovaniik on the Bomb King, TheFatPlum on Androxus, ChaoticZulu on Eevee, Cacanuck onto the Buck, and CombatStarfish on Grok. But in terms of Unity Esports, Vox, they've changed their lineup quite a bit.
They certainly have. We have now OgienChomik on Cassie, MrBrick on Androxus, MrPotatoeFace on Eevee still. CoraSweetness has changed the Grover up to a Ying, and MicroMiniMouse still on Bomb King. Very interesting picks coming out there. Don't often see a Ying picked up, but we are going back to regular meta with Cassie this time. So I'm interested to see how it'll play out. It depends if this Ying can be a worthwhile pick, but here we come. Cacanuck on Buck once again, going around from behind. It's actually, they're dancing around in circles right now. Look at what's happening. Of course, we cast in free cam. We can see them just circling around this objective. Who's going to be the first one to spot who out? And it looks like the TheFatPlum spotted Ying.
He's been caught, but the TheFatPlum has been caught, but he's able to nether step away and dash, which is very good. A lot of fighting going on. Potential 2-man freeze. One gets caught. The CombatStarfish is in trouble, but his shield saves him in the nick of time, and the MrBrick goes in trying to get the kill, but the TheFatPlum takes him out as well. CombatStarfish just narrowly escaping death, and it ends up working out in his team's favor as they take this first initial fight and get on the point. So, Vox, what are they doing with the Ying? Why do you think they brought out the Ying instead of the Grover this time?
You've stumped me. I don't know. I don't know, dude.
I was like, might go out.
There, at the moment, there is no real reason to play Ying over any other pick, except if you're extremely confident with your own Ying play. It is very much a pocket pick, so they might be looking for something a little bit niche. But honestly, against a champion like Androxus, against a Buck who can lock them down and stop that dimensional link from allowing Ying to teleport all around, it's just not very effective. And we're really starting to see that come through. Ying, only 1 death so far, just not able to really have much of an impact on this fight, as Ardent Frost do take the first objective very quickly. There was a good blink freeze, but there's a second blink freeze in the back of it. MrPotatoeFace very low, does pick up a Bing, but they'll be shut down as they don't soar up into the high ground. They soar straight away, and Cacanuck lands on them, even though TheFatPlum picks up a kill. And talk to me about TheFatPlum right now.
TheFatPlum, he is, what else to say, Vox? I mean, he's a fat plum. He's juicy. He's sweet. He's 8-0, and that's got to count for something. This man is going crazy. Androxus play, again, always getting so jealous by these great Androxus players in the summer circuit because he's such a fun character. He's so dynamic, probably one of the highest skill caps in the game, but also a very hard character for beginners to kind of really excel with. So requires a lot of aim, and of course, he's just being a very, very dominant figure. Now, why is he having so much success, do you feel, Vox? I mean, in this round, are they just not focusing on him like we talked about before?
Well, take a look at the lineup of Unity Esports right here. They're not very much focused on anything besides the payload right now, as the payload does near conversion. But look at who they have who can potentially shut Androxus out of the air. MrBrick, 0-4 right now, just not really showing up as Androxus themselves. And other than that, the only champion who can easily take them out of the air would be CoraSweetness. But of course, Ying has a limited range even as a sharpshooter, although she is a hit scan champion with that beam coming out of her mirror. If Androxus just nether steps a couple of steps up into the air, she's unable to connect, and then you're left with Bomb King. But Bomb King's got to deal with Buck.
So if you have hit scan, I just walk people just very briefly. So hit scan, and some people may not know what that is and why those characters are valued more so dealing with air characters. Walk us through that.
So you have 2 main types of damage confirmation, I guess we're going to call it, in the video games at the moment. We have projectile-based, like Pip's Potion Launcher, for example. You effectively throw a projectile towards your enemies. Cassie's arrow is the same thing. So if you shoot a Cassie arrow at somebody across the map, you could have one of their teammates jump in front of it to body block it before it connects. Now, if you do that with a hit scan champion, like with Canessa, who when they fired, effectively doesn't shoot a projectile at the enemy, it just scans a line down towards the end of the range, and if there's anything in the way, it gets hit. So if you jumped in front of Canessa's shot after she fired, you wouldn't actually be able to block it because it's already connected right now. And the TheFatPlum, though, is immortal on the hit scan and Androxus as well. So as we said, when the TheFatPlum does shoot, anybody in his path will be hit. The first person there will be connected with that shot, and that's why it's so valuable against taking out airborne targets who are often quite mobile, go up and down, and are difficult to hit with these projectiles in midair.
Right, so it's very hard for characters like Eevee, which we kind of saw drop out of the meta a little bit because she could not deal with how strong Androxus was. She's not a direct counter to him because she cannot blink him in the air, and she cannot shoot him very easily because those projectiles, they move very slowly, and they're very hard to hit a moving, dashing target in. So if you ever see an Eevee hit an Androxus and kill him in the air, just go ahead and buy that man a drink or buy that girl a drink. Again, staying politically correct today, guys. I'm not going to get caught in the trap. We see OgienChomik actually going down, and it looks like, again, Ardent Frost just doing whatever they need to do, Vox, to win this game, and it's paying off so far.
They've got 3 players stacked up on the objective, and I love this because it increases the capture rate to the maximum amount. Now, when you stand on the capture point, the capture objective range, you have a certain base capture rate when there's 1 player. Tell me what happens when you start to stack more people up on there.
Well, it's a bit of a strategy, and it's also a bit of a feeling that you get. You understand as you play this game a little bit more exactly how it works. But pretty much 1 player will capture that point, and you will slowly take it up. But if you have 2, it'll tick it up a little bit faster. If you have 3, it'll tick it up even faster. So there's a little bit of a strategy element to how many players do we keep on the point versus do we just capture a little bit and keep 4 of our players up ahead trying to fight and make sure no one gets by. It's a little bit of a gamble, but it is oftentimes a lot better to keep 3 players on for at least some point of time so you get that quick capture rate and get as many points as possible before the fight starts to happen again.
Well, the fight is going on right now as the payload pushes towards the base of Unity Esports, and good grief, the TheFatPlum is annihilating 16-0 and 9 on Androxus right now. Only 2 deaths, no, 3 deaths, my mistake there, on the side of Ardent Frost as they continue their domination, and we're seeing the Conga roll come in now as a desperate last attempt to stop this advance. And here we go, here's an accursed arm as well. Cacanuck with the double kill. Rovaniik picks up CoraSweetness, and here comes a King Bomb from up on high, but it should be shut down here. Not going to be immune to actually does take out CombatStarfish on the Grog, but here comes the other accursed arm. It's too much damage for everybody to deal with. The TheFatPlum with 1, the TheFatPlum with the double kill, looking for the triple kill, can maybe find the quadra kill here. ChaoticZulu nets OgienChomik right there, and all of a sudden the payload will push through to completion, and that will be an 8-0 lead over Unity Esports in Game 2.
I believe that they really need to deal with Rovaniik. I really think that his damage on Bomb King is just massive to these low health targets who they want to carry this game. I mean, they're getting demolished. 2 bombs onto Cassie is more than half her health, and that is just eliminating her in these abilities for her to, defend or effectively just stay in these fights for long enough to have an impact. So I personally would start trying to get Rovaniik out of these fights, not only for his area pressure with the Grumpy Bomb Vox, but just because I think he's doing a little bit too much damage, and they need to get that out if they want to chance to win this one. Do you think there's a way for them to come back at this point, or are they just, you think they're going to give up here?
I don't think they're going to give up. I think they'll give it their best shot at the next objective, as you always have to. Realistically, they haven't been performing well enough to actually take anything off. They might be able to take up some time on the objective right here, but they're being dismantled by Ardent Frost. As you can see in the backline, the blink block comes through. MrPotatoeFace immediately taking out the TheFatPlum, credited with another kill right there. And on the objective is CombatStarfish, already taking up that capture rate. Should have Totemic Ward available to him and Ghostwalk to mitigate all of the damage. Although Cassie goes in, it does not matter because they have enemies behind them. They're being taken apart one by one, and it looks like it's going to be over very, very shortly.
Yeah, CoraSweetness trying to get away, and of course Ying has certain mobility. It's not the kind that would allow her to escape 5 men chasing down her in this open plane here. So unfortunately, it is not going the way for Unity Esports today. It looks like this is going to be their last hurrah. 76, 79 points taken up as 3 members of Team Ardent are actually there, and the imprisonment comes out to make sure nobody can get in there, and that is the game. 2-0. Ardent Frost move on to the next round to face Eager, and Unity Esports need to come back next week. Hopefully they do. Didn't have the best showing, but again, this was obviously a very prepared Ardent Frost team. Can't take anything away from them. They had a plan. They executed it, Vox, and so far, so good. I'm excited to see how they fare against Eager.
Absolutely. I mean, shout out to the TheFatPlum right there. Good grief. 23-0 and 14 reads the slash line. The MVP for this game, because they didn't just pick off kills and finish them up. They did the damage. 43,000 right here. And honestly, it feels like the TheFatPlum is just performing so well. I'm curious to see how that translates when Ardent Frost face a higher tier team. Of course, when they get into the higher tier teams, it's going to be less about the solo carry, more about the team play. And I'm wondering if the TheFatPlum will get shut down, or if they'll be able to consistently keep on stepping it up and keep the momentum up, whilst the rest of the team actually give them the setup to just enable them to get the kills, rather than having to do all of the work themselves.
Exactly. We didn't really see, like you're saying, we didn't really see Ardent Frost challenged by Unity Esports at any point. So they'll definitely be challenged by Eager, one of the top tier teams, pretty much the 2nd or 3rd best team here, potentially the 1st this week if they have stepped things up and are trying to take on match point. So we'll see. They're going to have to come at it with a little bit more focus, a little bit of energy. I've always felt that it's hard to play a team that is not as prepared and then go into a team that is very prepared, because it's a kind of a culture shock when you get in there and suddenly you start dying after going 23-0, 9-0.
Yeah.
Do you think they'll be ready for Eager, or do you think this is going to potentially hinder them in that next game and the first couple of capture points?
I think that Eager will still have the upper hand here. I know that they've been practicing very hard, but hey, we know that they like to run Victor in their compositions. That's a bit of a pocket pick that they've been trying to run with. Hasn't been working out for them so far in the finals, but we'll see if it happens.
Yeah, we'll see.
If Eager can maybe pull something off with it going into the quarterfinals and then the semis coming up very shortly. But let's take a look at the brackets and see how the other teams have actually stacked up during this first round, round 1. We give that a quick refresh, we should be able to see what's up there. So, as we said before, Ariana Grande fanboys got a bye round as Oblivious Oblitus there, pronunciation. Sorry, Latin, not my first language, shockingly. Oblitus were disqualified for not being able to field a full roster. Kings of the North did take a 2-0 win of the Art of Warfare and advanced to face Ardent Ascendants, another Ardent team in the tournament. Ardent Frost, the map that we just saw, they're going to be facing off against Eager and Zenith Black, 2-0 Jolt GG, and they'll be up against Ronin. And talk to me a little bit about the Ronin Zen dynamic, because we've often seen these teams in the semi-finals together, haven't we?
Yeah, they've been going back and forth at each other, and they've actually been quite competitive in their matches. You know, Ronin is a team I think that's been a little bit getting the upper hand on a lot of the circuit in some of the qualifiers we've had beforehand. But Zenith Black has always been a competitor. They've hung around there. I'd say they've been around the 5 to maybe chasing into the 4, the 3rd spot at some points. And so it'll be a really interesting game. That's going to be a matchup I'm really looking forward to on the NA side. Of course, I think I'm also really interested to see how Ariana Grande Fanboys fares against the champs so far, the undefeated Match Point. So we will see how that goes as well. Any particular match you're looking forward to, Vox, specifically?
Honestly, I don't know. I'm feeling interested in all these. Kings of the North, a new team. I want to see how they fare against Ardent Ascendants. Ariana Grande Fanboys, you got to check out just for the name. But also, we just saw Ardent Frost perform very, very well, and a direct improvement over the last few weeks. The last 3 weeks, the Paladins Summer Circuit. And actually, I almost wish that I could watch the Eager game just for the sake of finding out how they perform. I'm very interested to see that. But folks, we'll be taking a short break here whilst we do get ready for the next set coming up in round 2. If you don't already, don't forget to follow Paladins Game on Twitch. You can find them also on Twitter, and you can keep up to date with when the tournaments go live and stuff like that. There is also a brand new Paladins Esports Twitter account run by Hi-Rez. It is called @PaladinsPro. You can find that on twitter.com/PaladinsPro. It's like Smite Pro if you're familiar with that. And you want to check that out for all of your Paladins competitive needs going on to the future. That includes tournaments like the Summer Circuit, as well as the Invitational in January.